The Bible says the Jews are black. You understand?
A nation of priests.
They ain't gonna never read you that.
But what happened?
They ain't gonna tell you that the Jews are so-called black people.
This book of the law of the Lord is only for the
It's only a matter of time
only for us. It was given to us.
before the remnant of Israel
That's our
wakes
Lord.
up.
That's right. That's our big brother. That's the one that's coming back
we
for
ride.
us. Back for us.
We come from a bloodline of priests, sold into captivity. Father, break these chains off me, make me free. In time, ambition, 2024 AD. Live from the belly of the beast, Babylon. Should we stay, should we flee? In time's ambition.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, we got on the screen. We got Officer Yaden today. Shalom. Hey, he gonna be our reader for this evening. All right, we got Chief had to step away for a little bit. He sent in the faithful Officer Yaden, who be out there with the precepts on the Sabbath day. He's helping us get this word pushed across. He gonna be doing the reading today. So for this lesson. So, all right. Introduce yourself, because people don't see you that often. They see you on the videos and everything. Say what's up to Israel.
Officer Yaden here. I'm the one that's always on the sideline reading for Chief. So good to definitely y'all can finally see my face. So
That's right. Hey, see the young officer, man. He be out there putting in the work. He been putting in the work for a while, as y'all know. He's been faithful to the ministry. And we thank the Most High for sending him so to come and do the work. Like we've been out there. He's been out there in the hot weather, when it's cold, when it's when we have to start packing up when it's raining. He's out there. He's been out there and being faithful. So I thank the Most High for sending us this brother. We always need soldiers in the army of the Most High. And he sent us a good soldier that's faithful.
that's right.
That's right. Hey, and before we kick anything off, I'd like to give all praises and honor to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. That's giving all praise and honor to the Father in the name of his Son, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right. And so we're getting ready to kick off this lesson. I came across this lesson more so through an interaction with a person on Threads, right? I like to be active on Threads. I'm trying to do something a little different, tiptoeing the social media. I'm not really big on it, but hey, it gets the word out there, and it gets it's all across the whole internet about this word about the Most High. So I'm trying to get into it, right? We got someone here. Shalom, brother Frank. Shalom. Hey, the water for joining us. Thank you for joining us. You could have been anywhere in the world right now, but you watching us. So the water. And make sure if you're watching, be interactive with us. Hey, like, share, subscribe. If you I already know you subscribe, so I ain't even worry about that part. But hey, if you got questions as we're going through the lesson, go ahead, ask them. That's what we're here for. We want to keep this interactive. I'm not just talking at you. We're talking with you. We're like you were in front of me. This is how this lesson is going to go. And that's how I like the lesson to feel. Right. So when I was on Threads, I was just making a observation that people seem like they don't know what sin was. So I was like, what is sin, right? I started asking all these questions. Man, made my post, what is sin? And somebody said, oh, it's actually this and that. And they were like, yeah. I was like, well, I don't really do that. I'm like, yeah, I don't make it a practice to sin. They're like, wait a minute, you don't sin? I'm like, nah. I'm like, is that something I'm supposed to be doing? I thought we were believers, right?
Right.
I thought we believers, we supposed to believe what the Bible says, and we're not supposed to sin, right?
Right.
So it seemed like it amazed everybody. You didn't sin? Oh, you being prideful, brother. I'm like, I don't know how that prideful, but okay. He's like, so you telling me you didn't have an evil thought, or you didn't eat too much today? I'm like, what are you talking about? You ain't never had gluttony. You ain't never had none of that. I'm like, what are you talking? That's not even a sin. I'm like, what are you talking about? Gluttony? Then he started talking about all this stuff. I was like, you're a Catholic. You're a Catholic. And I was like, that. I was like, oh, now this makes sense. You talking about 7 deadly sins, right? Like, these are sins. I'm like, those aren't like it's. I'm like, all of that ain't sin. I'm like, so you really don't know what sin is. So it just kind of clicked to me. I'm like, do the people really know what sin is? I know we teach it all the time. Like brothers in the camp know what sin is. And if you don't know, I don't know what you've been listening to or who you've been talking to. But all the brothers in our camp, we know what sin is because we teach against it each week, right? So this class is to edify and educate our people who might not know or might not heard of what the 7 deadly sins are. And we're going to get into that. If you've seen the thumbnail, you kind of got a little spoiler right there, right? But so that we can jump into this, I'm gonna have a video to help edify as we go through the lesson. So I'm about to bring the stage this video called the origins of the 7 deadly sins. Okay, this person in the video, he's gonna give us some information, and then we're gonna see if we can walk with it, just to give you a little historical information, and then we'll go from there. We'll try to edify you and educate you on if these are doctrines of men or doctrine of God. All right, so I'm gonna bring that to the stage. Here we go.
A dictionary might tell us that sin is an action or type of behavior.
No. It ain't playing on my end. I can't. Can you hear it?
I can.
Could you hear it when it? You can? Let me see here. Something sounds a little off with it. Check I had this problem last time. Salakia Israel. Let's bring this up. Going to my cell settings. If I can't play it, I'm gonna try to play it as loud as I can over here. Because for some reason it's coming through my speakers. I'm not sure if y'all can hear it as well as I can. All right.
A dictionary might tell us that sin is an action or type of
Can you hear
behavior
that?
which is believed to break the laws of God. Straightforward enough. Stray away from God's law and you're a
Turn
sinner.
it all the way up.
The 7 deadly sins are not
I'm
strict
gonna
laws.
start it back over just
A
for a
dictionary
minute.
sins. A dictionary might tell us that sin is an action or type of behavior which is believed to break the laws of God. Straightforward enough. Stray away from God's law and you're a sinner. The 7 deadly sins are not strict laws like the 10 commandments.
Now, right there, it's telling you the definition of sin is if you stray away from the laws of God. I can rock with that. All of us can rock with that. Like, it's because that's what we teach. We teach that is what sin is. Now we're going to continue and let you listen to what else he says when we're talking about what sin is according to what he believes, right?
The biblical concept of sin is a bit varied. It really depends on whereabouts in the Bible you're reading. In the Old Testament, sin, in Hebrew chatah, is more of a legal thing. To sin is to fall short of God's law, as laid out at Mount Sinai to Moses, as part of God's wider covenant with Israel. Some of these laws are very familiar. We find them in the 10 Commandments, like thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, but there are plenty more laws than just the 10 Commandments. In fact, the Old Testament contains a whopping 613 of them. For example, do not consult a psychic or spiritualist. Do not muzzle an ox whilst it's treading out grain. Do not eat pork nor shellfish. And don't eat winged creatures like bats. In the Old Testament, to transgress any one of these laws is to fall out of the covenant with God, and therefore become a sinner. Now, it's a common misconception that sin features heavily in the story of Adam and Eve. Nowhere in the story does the word sin or chata ever appear. No talk of the devil either. The idea of sin entering the world through a forbidden apple is a later Christian interpretation of this much older Hebrew story. Speaking of Christianity, let's move on to the New Testament and its understanding of sin. Sin is not mentioned in terms of law, but more a state of being that all people are in, a state that humanity needs rescuing from. Whenever the word sin is mentioned, it's primarily in the context of forgiveness, typically understood as being through Jesus. There are some sins, known as eternal sins, that are simply unforgivable. The sin in question is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. According to the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, and Luke, failing to show proper reverence to it will immediately put you into eternal hellfire, and no amount of prayer and penance can save you from it. But nowhere do we find talk of the 7 deadly sins. Perhaps 1 or 2 verses condemn a particular sin like pride or greed, but not a neat list of vices as we have it today. Instead, it was compiled later in Christian tradition.
Now, when we listen to that, there's some certain things they didn't really rock with, right? Like we can understand, hey, there are laws that we have, and then when you break those laws, those are known as sin. Now, he went into it, he gave a understanding saying that in the Old Testament, sin was breaking the laws of God. But then said, speaking of Christianity, now how does that kind of fit the narrative? Like, if the time when Christ was walking, they were still going by the law of God, why did, when he said now in Christianity, here's a different definition? Now that don't make no sense, right?
Nah.
Don't make absolutely no sense, because the Old Testament, like it tells you that sin is the breaking of his law, and so does the New Testament. Can you grab that for me, Officer Yaden?
So I got it in the New Testament, 1 John 3 and 4.
That's right.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. So,
Officer done read what law, what the law is. He said that the transgression of the law is sin. So how did he come to the idea that there's a whole new concept of sin when it comes to the New Testament? When the New Testament just taught you what sin was.
Right.
It baffled me how he said that. And then we can go to the New Testament and it gives you what sin is. So that just shows you that most of the people who talk about the Bible don't actually read the Bible. They don't read the Bible. They just go off of what they're taught by the traditions of men.
Right.
Like I had somebody tell me cussing was a sin. And then I asked them, I said, where in the Bible can you find cussing as sin? And then they went to the New Testament to teach me that what Paul said. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, you know the law is in the front of the Bible, not the back of the Bible, right? I'm like, that's not how it works. You cannot give a new definition to what law is, just like this man just gave. He said the law is something new. It's like in the New Testament, it's a whole new definition of it having to do with forgiveness. I'm like, how? What? Yeah. So Christ, so they try to round it to Christ died on the cross to give you forgiveness, but didn't tell you what you were being forgiven of.
That's very confusing.
Absolutely confusing. I didn't get it. I was like, I don't know how you came to that. And then when you talk to other Christians, they'll tell you that sin is missing the mark. And I was like, what Bible verse is that? They're like, oh, it's actually the Greek. It says the word for sin talks about missing the mark. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, that made no sense to me. I'm like, if the New Testament tells you what sin is, why are you trying to come up with a new definition for it when it's already been provided? So I was
Right.
like, cool. I'm like, where you find this? What's this new word? It said, oh, you can find it in Romans. So that's what I'm about to pull up. I'm about to pull up Romans, the 3rd chapter, in the 23rd verse, and I'm going to pull that up in the Greek so you can see what they were talking about.
Okay.
Because to me, it made no sense at all. Like, it's how they got this. All right. I'm going to try to see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Let me see. All right, cool. All right. So this verse right here is Romans 3 and 23. And it says, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Christian's favorite verse when you
Yeah.
try to tell them they got to keep the law of God. Well, all of us have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Get my napkin, pat my head, pass the plate.
Wow.
I got to get home. I like, hey, we got to get out this church before a football kickoff. Right.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay. I'm like, okay. So here's the word for sin. It's ha martano, right? G264. And this is exactly where they get that whole understanding. Right here in the outline of biblical usage, you'll see where it says to miss the mark. It's the second one down on the list. I'm gonna highlight it here, and then you'll see it right here, the second one down, to miss the mark. But they don't really tell you what it is when they say miss the mark.
Yeah.
So to grab an understanding of this, you have to either like it, you can use the lexicon or you can get the Strong's definition. The Strong's definition is more like if you got a dictionary, right? But in the Greek, they have the word that has different meanings, but a good way to get the understanding of what it means at that spot, you have to go over to where it says jump to scripture index, and it's going to give you the listing for every time it's used and where it's used at, right? So we were just reading in Romans 3 and 23. So when you click on that, you're looking for Romans 3 and 23. It's up here at the top. For all of sin and come short of the glory of God. And you just have to scroll up just a little bit. This is talking about God in the violation of God's law, sin. Simple, right?
Yeah.
But Christians want to dance around and give you, oh, miss the mark, so they can try to come up with their own definition of what missing the mark means. When miss the mark in the Greek shows you as an absolute, I'm going to highlight it, as an absolute of a violation of God's law, sin. So they can just throw that word out. They want to sound like they know something, but they really don't. Probably their pastor probably taught it to them, like try to be deep. Well, I've looked in the Greek, and it says this. That word actually means miss the mark. Like this, but what mark? And then they start going down the list of the things they want you to not feel bad about,
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
so that you can feel good enough to empty your pockets into the plate and they pass it around. I'm like this. So not only have we touched on what that means when we talk about sin, what sin is, and missing the mark means the sin. Now you know how to find this out for yourself. Go Blue Letter Bible, find a verse, find a word, and you look in the lexicon and you go to jump to where what that word means. Like I'm telling you, like if you love the word of God, you got to study the word of God. You can't just take he say, she say for what it says. For whatever I said, don't believe me. I'm gonna give you what to say. Like I'm gonna give you where to go more so. And like it's and what to say to when people try to question you on what that means. Because it's all about scholarship over here. It's not about dogma or parroting what anybody else said. You have to learn to do these things on your own because myself, Officer Yaden, Chief Jehu, Kanayala, or Kanayala are not gonna be here to walk with you through every aspect of life, and you've got to learn how to do these things sometime on the fly. You had anything you want to add on that?
Uh, no, not so far. That is pretty handy though. I didn't even know you could do that, honestly. So,
I'm telling you, I'm like it's like it, this is how when I come to a standpoint where I don't understand what it's saying in the scripture, or it might sound like it's not harmonizing. I'm like, how does that make sense when it says this? I'll come over here. I'm like, okay, it's this word. Jump to where it's at in the verse, and I'm like, oh, they could have said it like this instead of like that, because the translators themselves of the King James Version Bible were Trinitarians because they were indoctrinated into the Trinity. So that's why a lot of the stuff sounds like it does, because it was the prevailing doctrine during the day. So a lot of things kind of sound like that. And thank the Most High that He gave us the resources. Now we can go back and we can see if it really means what it's really saying.
right.
Like it's because a lot of this information, there's a lot of this information sounds good when you hear it from the other people that want to give you a good feeling message, but it's not biblical, or they're
Yeah,
using it out of context. But now you can use stuff like this so you can get the full context of what it's talking about.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because look at, and if they try to hit you with, oh, it don't missing the mark don't really mean sin. I'm gonna jump to the scriptural index. I'm gonna go to one of my favorite verses. We're gonna go to First Peter 2:20. Like this. I'm gonna pull that up. We're going to First Peter 2:20. And it says, oh, is that it? Yeah. What is acceptable for God? That is not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for the next one. I'm gonna pull it up here. I'm just gonna jump to it. First Peter 2:1. Like it's for hereunto. Oh, can you read that? Read that for me, and I'll just break it down as we go through this. Just read down from 21 and 22.
Okay.
Mhm.
For even hereunto were ye were called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye shall follow his steps.
Right?
Who did no sin,
He did
not
what?
who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth.
So now we know here this word in First Peter 2:22. He says he did no sin. Who did no sin? Talking about Christ. So I'll go to the tools, and it's gonna give me that breakdown. Who did no sin? What's this word? Hamaratia. It's not the same word as G265, like I mean 64, but it's the same root word. Hamatia. Same root word right here. See right there? Comes from that word, sin. So the same thing it's talking about right here in that biblical outline, the second one down, to miss the mark. That's just how you proof text that it's talking about the same thing. To miss the mark means to sin. Point blank. That it's plain upon tables. It's just in a different language. That's all it is. Different language, different context. But it still means the same thing. So I hope that helps you understand how to fact check what we're saying and what other people are saying. Right? I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off the screen for now, because that right there gives you the definition of sin, what sin is in the Greek, and that when they try to hit you with that miss the mark, tell them it's the same word that they use for sin in the Greek. It's just like if they say sinned and sin, it has the same root word. Who did no sin has the same root word as we have all sinned and come short. You got one in the past tense and you got one that's just in the present tense. That's all it is. Quick and simple. All right, now we're gonna get back to it. Now that we know what sin is, the definition of sin, we're gonna talk about where the idea of the seven deadly sins came from. Let me pull that up here.
The seven deadly sins are believed to have come about with a monk known as Evagrius of Pontus, who lived around about 345 to 399. He was a hermit in the Egyptian desert and lived a life of harsh asceticism and spiritual solitude. Evagrius drafted up a list, not of 7 sins, but of 8 so-called evil thoughts. He believed that there were 8 vulnerabilities of the human soul, cracks in the heart that all humans are prone to by their nature. The evil thoughts are quite familiar. We have gluttony, lust, greed, anger, sloth, pride, and 2 new ones, vainglory, which is type of boasting, and sadness. You may have noticed that envy does not feature in this list. But they're a bit more dialed down from the 7 deadly sins as we know them today.
So right there, we're starting to learn what the 7 deadly sins are and where they came from, right? They all came from what was called the 8 evil thoughts. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen. This comes from history.com, right? It's called How the 7 Deadly Sins Began as 8 Evil Thoughts. So you can see Esau's art over here, trying to color in the lines, right? All right, but this, like it says, it was published in 2021, and it was last updated in May of this year. So this is telling you like the most up to date information they have on this. So it says, oh, actually, let me make that actually bigger. I'm looking at it on the screen and it looks quite small. All right, here we go. And it reads, it says, in the 4th century, a Christian monk named Evagrius Pontius wrote down what's known as the 8 evil thoughts: gluttony, lust, avarice, anger, sloth, sadness, vainglory, and pride, just like we saw in the video. And it tells you right here, it says that Evagrius wasn't writing for a general audience. So what he was writing down wasn't meant to be published to everybody like it is now, right? He said he was a ascetic monk in the Eastern Christian Church. All that is the fancy word. He was a monk that lived the most simple life. They didn't believe in having the best of anything. They lived very modest lives on the bare minimums so that they can be more in touch with God, more focused on prayers and learning. That's all that's meaning. That's what they are. The ascetic monks. And he says in the Eastern Christian Church. He was writing to other monks about the 8 thoughts could interfere with their spiritual practices. Because these things that he was writing down, he believed that they were like the cracks in your heart that kept you from real solid praise from your heart. It says even Greer's student John Cassian brought these ideas to the Western Church, where they were translated from Greek to Latin. And in the 6th century, George Gregory the Great, who became Gregory the First, Pope Gregory the First, rearranged them in his commentary on the book of Job. What? He was writing his commentary and was like, oh, these kind of fit here. Everything Job went through, yeah. And then it said removing sloth and adding envy instead of pride, its own place on the list. Instead of giving pride on its own place on the list, he described it as the ruler of the other 7 vices, because which became known as the 7 deadly sins. So when we talk about this, now we know kind of where it came from. It came from a Christian monk, which came about in the 6th century. 6th century. Think about that. So that's like, if I believe I'm right, it's 5090. I want to say it was 590 AD to around about 604 AD is about the time they say that it got published. So instead of just taking this, leaving it amongst themselves, something just kind of like to edify one another, the Pope saw it and was like, oh, I'm going to use this. Oh, I'm going to use this, because we know that nothing they really did in the Catholic Church was for the benefit of the people. They had the Bible to themselves. People weren't allowed to have copies of the Bible. So they held these over their head and told them these were sins so they could control the people. People don't see it like that. Back in the day, churches were like the head of power, especially over in Europe. That's why America kind of got formed here, and because they wanted to escape from the church running things. That's why like America is a place where it's supposed to be separation, but from church and state. So you'll be able to practice whatever religion, be as lawless as you want to. Inception of the country, origins, right? They didn't want to be under the so-called thumb of the Catholic, the Roman Catholic Church, so they could live how they wanted to live, but they still kind of had Christian beliefs, kind of. I'll say that lightly. All right. So when we talk about the 7 deadly sins, they originated from the 8 evil thoughts that came up from this monk that just thought, hey, this will be something that'll help edify us. But they used it as a tool to rule the people. Now, I just want to share a little more about that, about the 7 deadly sins, like it's in the 8 evil thoughts. I'm just going to continue on in it for a little bit, and it's going to give you some information about who the Pope was, give you a little more information, and this pretty much be the end of these videos over here, so we can get to the meat and potatoes of the mission of the lesson.
A 2 centuries later, in 590, the list got into the hands of Pope Gregory I. He revised these 8 thoughts into 7 sins, and combined sadness with sloth and vainglory with pride, and then he had envy. This is the basis of our 7 deadly sins, as we have it today. Moving onwards to the medieval era, and the 7 deadly sins became a part of a growing theology of sin in Western Christendom. But it was the poetry of Dante that really put the 7 deadly sins on the cultural map. You would have likely heard of Dante's Inferno. It's only the first of 3 parts of a much larger poem known as the Divine Comedy. Read as a whole, the Divine Comedy is a tour of the 3 heavenly realms: hell, purgatory, and heaven. Part 1, Inferno, is a detailed and grim tour of hell. It's envisioned as a great downward funnel boring deep into Earth's core, with Satan frozen in ice at the bottom. Hell is made up of 9 concentric rings, and each ring houses a different type of sinner, some of which include our 7 deadly sins. For example, Ring 2 houses the lustful, who are punished with a barrage of perpetual winds. Ring 3 holds the greedy, who must carry around great boulders all day. Whilst Inferno features some of the deadly sins, the second part, Purgatorio, is based almost entirely around them. According to Catholic belief, Purgatory is the place where the souls of the Christian dead must be challenged in order to get rid of any remaining sin and pass on to heaven. In the Divine Comedy,
What? Where in the Bible do you find purgatory?
I've never heard of that.
Right? Purgatory is a place where if you still got sin, you can get rid of it so that you can pass on to heaven and be. I thought when you died, like then you get the judgment.
Right.
What? Where did I tell you? The inventions of men to control people, it's like a fever dream. How he came up all the 9 levels, and then in the middle is fiery, but then you go deeper is ice. Like, how the heck you come up with that? How you come up with that whole idea that's where that is? Ice. That's after all the heat, in the middle is ice.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We really don't need to go any further on this. I'm gonna pull this down because there's nothing else edifying in that right there of learning about what they believe, because we don't even believe hell being a place like that, but hell being more of a condition or a state of being.
Right.
Just like that when Jonah was in the belly of the whale, he said he was in hell.
Yeah.
How he go to hell and he's still alive?
Right.
Come on now. All this dogma has gotta go. All this foolishness gotta go. And that's why it's basically, the 7 deadly sins is on trial from this moment on. It's on trial. It's on trial. Your whole doctrine is on the trial. I wish I had a gavel. I wish I had a gavel over here. I was thinking about it. I was like, I wish I had a gavel. So just to touch back on that, we're going to talk about what the 7 deadly sins are, right? We're going to talk about what the 7 deadly sins are. We're going to pull this up. Last 2 parts of this video.
Sinner. The 7 deadly sins are not strict laws like the 10 Commandments. We're not dealing with thou shalt not lose your temper. Instead, the 7 deadly sins are a list of negative character traits to be avoided at all costs. Otherwise known as vices, they're a list of 7 unpleasant habits that can lead to further immoral behavior.
Now, I just told you. It said itself that they're not even sins. It said the whole concept of them are not sins, but they're vices to keep you from sinning. That's wild. That's wild.
He just admitted it.
Like it's wild. So they're not. He just admitted that they're not sins.
Well, yeah.
But like I said, we're gonna put them on trial.
Right.
Like they have also in here. They have a part that we're talking about that why there's 7 deadly sins. Why aren't there 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12?
Yeah.
Like we know that we have 316 laws, roughly, right?
Right.
So why do you have all these things? Why you have all that?
Have you ever wondered why there are only 7 of them? Why not include cowardice or treachery? The number 7, especially in the Abrahamic faiths, have always had a spiritual significance. In the book of Genesis, we have the 7 days of creation. In Exodus, there are 7 days of the Feast of Passover. And in the Gospels, 7 demons were cast out of Mary Magdalene. If you're going to have a list of deadly sins, 6 and 8 won't cut it. 7 is just right.
So that's the whole understanding of it, of why there's 7, because there are other things in the Bible that have 7.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason.
Wow.
Just madness. Don't make no sense to me. None of that. You just the 7 days in a week. You know, the 7 spirits out of Mary Magdalene. What?
Yeah, they just came up with that off the top of their head.
Yeah, they might. Like, yes, I got in an accident. Now I only have 7 fingers. What? Good a reason as any, right? But that's the whole rundown of the Catholic dogma or their understanding of the 7 deadly sins. So we're gonna start putting them on trial. We're gonna put them on trial at this point. Like, it's the first one. The first one up is pride. So as I'm going through this, like it's are we is pride a sin? Oh, shalom, shalom, Salakia, I missed it. All right, so y'all good. Hey, Tony. Hey, brother Tony. I'm looking here. All right. All right. They believe the early church fathers' interpretation and traditions is equal in authority. That's exactly what it is. They do. They believe it is. They believe it's equal in authority. They even like it's. I didn't get to this point, and I left it out. But even Grius, he was later on thrown out the church because he started believing that different things in the scripture, right? One of them, they kicked him out for being a heretic because he believed that in the Trinity that God was above the Holy Spirit and Jesus. He came to that conclusion. He said, no, they can't be equal. They're like, how are they equal if if Christ is a creation? How are they equal?
Right.
You got to have me before you can have my spirit. So how is it equal?
So he was kicked out.
Yeah, he was kicked out. They kicked him out of the church. They kicked him out of church. It was, let me see what the other one was, because they kicked him out for that. They kicked him out for, oh, that's what it was. The pre-existence of a soul, saying that your soul existed before you. Like, I thought the scripture said that the souls go back to God who made them.
Right. Right.
So if your soul goes back to God who made them, what, did he just put you in a jar on the shelf?
Yeah, that don't make sense.
And imagine how many souls would have to be in heaven for all of eternity,
Yeah.
since the beginning. And we have we have millions of people that die all the time, every day. That's somebody that dies every few seconds.
Yeah.
There ain't no way. Like, heaven has that. Man, that's real cloud storage right there.
Yeah.
Cloud storage for real. We got here. Okay. Arianism, they dominated ideology until the Council of Nicaea ruled them heretics. Okay. Look at that. Our brother giving us some information right here. Hey, I love learning. I love learning. This adds on to the lesson. Arianism. I've heard of that. I didn't know that was the dominating ideology until the Council of Nicaea. I didn't know that. Because I know that they talked about the divinity of Christ, if he was the Son of God or if he was God. Like, there's a lot to get into when you talk about theology and the different councils. You had the Council of Carthage, you had the Council of Nicaea, and it wasn't just like a one day thing. They would visit, come back, talk about something, leave, come back, talk about it again. There's so much into it. I couldn't give you all the information in all of it in one sitting for a lesson, because we try to keep the lessons where it's edible, so you can take in the information and process it and not just be bombarded by so much information. You're just like, man, I'll just watch the video later. I don't know what's going on. we don't want you. We want to keep you engaged. We want to keep you engaged for the class.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, we're gonna go over it. The first one we hitting is pride. So, like this, if you're in the chat, like this, you're watching the video or you watching this later, put in the comment, put in the chat. Do you believe pride itself is a sin? Does pride a sin that you can find in the Bible, book, chapter, verse, that pride is a sin? Because a lot of things here, they sound like sins, or they might be sins, or they might not. I don't know. I know, but just for the faith, just for the class, I know, but if I didn't know, that'd be a problem. This lesson be over real quick. That would be the time somebody come up and scoff. Like, you see, Israelites don't know what this is. That'll be the time, right? But as we're going into it, pride, is it a sin in the Bible? Drum roll. No. Pride is not a sin in the Bible, but I'm going to put a but on that. But it leads to sin. Pride leads to sin. So first verse we're going to hit up Jeremiah 13 and 9. And I'm going to have you read down to verse 11. And we're going to see why I say it leads to sin.
Jeremiah 13 and 9. All right. Got you right here. You want me to read down to what?
Read down to verse 11.
Okay. This is Jeremiah 13 and 9. Thus saith the Lord, after this manner will I mar the pride of Judah.
The what of Judah?
The pride of Judah.
Okay.
And the great pride of Jerusalem.
Okay.
This evil people, which refuse to hear my words, which walk in the imagination of their heart, and walk after other gods, to serve them and to worship them, shall even be as this girdle, which is good for nothing. For as the girdle cleaveth to the loins of a man, so have I caused to cleave unto me, the whole house of Israel and the whole house of Judah, saith the Lord, that they might be unto me for a people and for a name, and for a praise and for a glory. But they would not hear.
But they wouldn't do what? They wouldn't hear. And what caused them not to hear?
Pride.
Their pride. It was their pride. Pride causes these things. Pride causes sin. Read those again. They gave you the whole listing of what they did. Read that one more time.
Verse 11?
Yep. Not verse 11. Should be 10.
Or, yeah, 10. Yeah, this evil people which refuse to hear my words, which walk in the imagination of their heart, and walk after other gods to serve them and to worship them, shall even be as this girdle, which is good for nothing.
Because they did all these things that were against the Lord God. They were against your God. That's what pride brings. They refused to hearken to his words. Because they knew better. I don't need God. I got mansions. I got cars. All that. I don't need them. I'm good. And for that, they had to get destroyed. He had to bring them low. He had to get rid of them. Right? That's just that goes into the proverb. Like it goes into the next one, the next proverb. We're gonna go to Proverbs 16:18. Proverbs 16:18. Most people should know this one.
Proverbs 16 and verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction.
What goes before destruction?
Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall.
Now, did that not just happen to Judah? Didn't that happen to Judah? Didn't that happen to Jerusalem? They had pride, and then and the Most High then destroyed them.
Yep.
That just shows you right there the proverbs to be true. Like it's pride goes before destruction because pride causes you to sin. The Most High can't allow you to prosper in sin.
Right.
How can the Most High be like, I don't like that, but I gotta bless them anyway? What example would that set?
Right.
Imagine that. Imagine if your parents, when you were little, you wrecked the whole house and then they took you to McDonald's afterwards. You're like, man, I can get away with this, and I get treated fine. I ain't never doing what they tell me.
No. Slovakia, Israel got some technical difficulties going on. Give us a second.
Shalom, shalom. Hey, something weird going on with the internet over here.
Do you
Hey,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, I didn't know what happened.
I got completely kicked out of my network. I don't know what just happened. It had me sign back in the network, so I apologize for that. Yashala, hey, kicked off. Um, we'll just pick up where I stopped off at. Like it's, hey, we're gonna keep this train moving, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so we talked about pride coming before destruction. That was an example of it right there. Like it's, get me Psalms 10 and read 1 through 4.
All right. Psalms 10. All right, Psalms 10, verse 1. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the vices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his continuance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts.
And that's what it is. That's what pride does. Pride keeps the Lord out of your thoughts because you're so worried about yourself and everything about you, you don't even consider the Lord. You don't even consider him at all. I guess. So you see here how pride, even though it's not a sin, can lead to sin.
Right.
So what we gotta do, like it's when it comes to pride being a sin, it is not of the Most High. I wish I had one of them cards like Maury. I'd be sitting here. You are not the Father, right? It's not of the Father. There it is.
Yeah,
It's not of the Father. When it
exactly.
comes to this old doctrine of I can barely hold it together. When it comes to the doctrine of lying, when it comes to the doctrine, when it comes to the doctrine of pride, you are not of the Father. So we can knock that off the list. Pride, not a sin. Like it's knock that off the list of things that are sins.
All right.
So anybody come up to you talking about pride being a sin, you can tell them it leads to sin, but it's not a sin in itself. Like it's next on the chopping block, we got greed. Greed. Is greed a sin according to the Bible? What say thou? What say thou? I guess it sounds good, right? Greed. What is greed, right? What is greed? Greed is like the want of something, right? When I was looking it up, the Catholics had different definitions for what it is. So when it talks about greed, they say it's a moderate love of things. So it's saying greed is a moderate love for things. So is greed a sin? Now think about it. Like I don't specifically see the word greed, like greed is sin, but what is greed? There's an actual term in the Bible that talks about greed. That's not greed. It's not the word greed. If you know what it is, go ahead and put it in the comments. Put it in the chat if you know what it is. Give you a few seconds to think about that. Think about that. What is greed in the Bible? And is there a law against it? Or is there what verse would you use to show that greed is a sin? Or is it not a sin? All right. I don't see anything in the chat yet. Hey, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments for later. Like it's when I looked it up, greed also is known as covetousness.
Oh,
Is covetousness is that a sin? Is covetousness a sin? I have to say it is.
yeah.
Covetousness is a sin. So when it talks about greed, greed in fact is a sin. Let's show them where it's at. Let's get Exodus 20 and 17. Hey, Christians should know this. Christians should know this one. Is is it an actual sin? It just goes by a different name.
So Exodus in 20 and 17. Thou shalt not covet
Mhm.
thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Yeah. That's it. That goes with it too. Like it's the love of power. Like it's the love of power, that can be greed as well. That can be greed as well. Like it's you see that in the Bible. Okay. Like it's lust of the eyes and flesh. Okay, being self-centered. Those are a kind of greed. Yeah. We're gonna touch on that too. We're gonna touch on those too. Because that also falls into some other categories. That also what you're saying, Brother Frank, that falls into other categories as well. Like it's just so that we can double down on this. Like it's Deuteronomy 5 and 21. Just so the people know, hey, this is a precept to it, because it's in because there's two tellings of the law. So this is just the second one, just in case you don't like the way that it reads in Exodus.
You said Deuteronomy 5 and 17?
No,
Or
21.
21. Okay. Deuteronomy 5 and 21. Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's.
Like it's so nice. The Most High had to say it twice.
That's
Had to
right.
give it to had to give it to you twice. Yeah, make sure, because Israel be hard of hearing. Had to tell it to him twice. Like it's so that just shows you, like it's when it comes to greed, you are of the Father. Like it's greed is of the Father. That is a sin. Greed is covetousness. Like he said, love of power, lust of the eyes and flesh, self-centered. Like these are things that can be greed, can show greed, right? Like it's next on chopping block, lust. And this is one a lot of people. This is one a lot of people. It's either hit or miss when it comes to this one, because it's a very touchy subject when it talks about lust. Because is lust a sin? Like is it a sin, or does it cause sin? And what does the Bible say about it? What's the Bible say about lust? Anybody know? Put it in the chat. I'm gonna give you time, because I think we talked about this. I think we even talked about this at camp one day. We are sitting around talking about what lust was, because I think it was a I don't want to say a brother. I said it was a man came up and he was trying to accuse us because we were telling him that we keep the law. He's like, you never looked upon a woman and lusted after her. I'm like, of course I've looked at a woman and lusted at her. That's how I got my wife. I
Yeah.
looked at my wife and was like, oh dang, that's how a man gets a wife. That's how a man gets a wife. You look at her and you're like, she look good. She righteous. Mm, that's even better. She an Israelite woman. Sign me up, right? So so this is very touchy. So when you look at it, lust can be lawful and lawless, right?
Right.
Because there is there's a lust that is lawful, and then there's a lust that's not. But when we're talking about the the meaning from the Catholic Church, they're talking about sexual appetites. But when you say it in general, when you talk about its lust, a sin, it really isn't, but it also can be.
Right.
I'm gonna give you we're gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example, right? First example of it being lawful. Let's get Deuteronomy 12 and 11. Deuteronomy 12 and 11, and we're gonna read down to verse 15.
Deuteronomy 12 and 11. Then there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall ye bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which ye vow unto the Lord. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God, ye and your sons and your daughters and your men servants and your maidservants, and the Levite that is within your gates, for as much as he hath no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest, but in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of thy tribes. There thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, and there thou shalt do all that I command thee.
Here's the point.
Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates. Whatsoever thy soul lusteth after,
And
according
your
to
soul does what?
whatsoever thy soul lusteth after,
Okay.
according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart.
Now it's saying there, the Lord said this. This wasn't me making it up. The Lord said, what notwithstanding that you may kill and eat it in all your gates, right? And then it said, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, that means you really want it. Like
Right.
it's according to the blessing of the Lord. So you you can have a lust that is lawful. Now, on the opposite side, there's a lust that isn't. Uh, let's get Leviticus 18 and 6. Leviticus 18 and 6. While you're talking about that, I'm just going to touch on a point real quick. Didn't Jacob kind of lust after Rebecca? He
Right.
saw her out there. He was like, "Dang, I gotta have this woman." And not only did he say that he had to say that in his heart. He ran up and kissed her. It said
Yeah.
he kissed Rebecca. And then when he was promised her and it was given Leah, he said, "Nah, I'll work 7 more years so I can get her." If that ain't lusting after somebody, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't would a lot of y'all brothers be lusting? Would y'all do 7 years for someone you didn't want, and then another 7 years for somebody you did want? I I'm just saying, that's some work.
Right.
That's some work. Would you do it? Go ahead, read that for me.
Leviticus 18 and 7,
Oh, 6, verse 6.
6. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord.
So there is a lust that you can have that's unlawful. Like you wanting to get with your next of kin. You're like, man, what was that? Kevin Gates that was sleeping with his cousin. Kevin Gates, yeah, it was a while back. I heard Kevin Gates was sleeping with his cousin. And
What?
like, yes, even though, like in our customs as Israelites, your cousin wasn't unlawful. Like, yes, but in this day and age, there ain't no need. Ain't no need for none of that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of Israelite women everywhere. He ain't had to do that.
Yeah.
He ain't had to do that, but he wanted to sleep with his cousin. Like, yes, so he came to his next of kin, even though that's not what the verse is saying. It's basically saying you can't sleep with your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. You can't do that. That's what that's saying.
Yeah.
So, but there are people that have inordinate affection for they kinfolk like that. So, hey, that's a lust that you're not supposed to get into. So, hey, when it comes to lust being a sin, the verdict's out, and it depends on the actual context of what you're lusting. Christ said, if you look upon a woman, the lust after her, that you've already committed adultery in your heart, but it's not talking about just any woman. It's talking about a married woman, because that's the only way you can commit adultery. So, all right, with that one, you have to weigh it as it goes. You have to weigh that as it goes. So if it you can't say it's a sin for sure unless you have the context behind it. So that one I'll weigh it. I'll weigh that as it comes. And the next thing we have on the chopping block is envy. Envy. Is envy a sin? Is envy a sin? Or is it not a sin? Put it down in the chat. Put it down there like it's. Hey, give us your opinion if it is a sin or is it not. Because if it is a sin, I'm gonna need book, chapter, and verse. I'm gonna need a book, chapter, and verse for it. Because that's how we work over here. Book, chapter, and verse. Sola Scriptura over here. Like if the Bible don't say it, hey, it ain't it. We already had the definition what sin is. It's transgression of the law. So that means there's gotta be a law against it. All right. Here we go. In the case of envy, I wish I had a drum roll. I wish I had a drum roll for it. Again, wish I had that sound effect, right? It says, envy is not of the Father. Envy is not a sin. Envy is not a sin, but it can lead to sin. Case in point, Miriam and Aharon, right? Get me Exodus 12. Exodus 12, we're going to read verses 1 and 2. There's another one even before that one, kids, when you think about Cain and Abel.
That's what I was thinking of.
Cain and Abel. I was hoping I got somebody in the chat that jumped in there before that because that's the main one. I knew somebody. I was like, somebody's gonna get that. Somebody gonna put that. So I tried to get something else. Okay, so we got Miriam and Aharon, right? Go ahead.
Exodus 12 and 1.
Yep, Exodus 12 and 1. Read down to 2.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all.
Wait. I might got that wrong. Hold on. Why did I put that wrong? That's not Exodus 12 and 2. Let's see. Exodus 12, 1 and 2. That's not what I'm looking for. Salakia. I don't want to say it's 18. Yep, it's 18. Salakia, I had that wrong. It's 18. 18, 1 and 2. Nope, hold on. I got all of that wrong. All of that wrong. Salakia, Israel. Like it's. Give me a second. Give me just a moment. I don't know how I wrote that down wrong. Because basically, I didn't want to give it away. Let's see. Goodness gracious. How that? Numbers 12 and 1. Oh, why I wrote Exodus? I don't know. Slakia, Israel. Hey, sometimes I mess up myself. Hey, Shalom, Kanayala. Shalom. Kanaya Allah in the building. Shalom, King. Shalom.
I got you. Numbers 12.
God. 1 and 2.
Got you. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman, and whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. Mm-hmm. And they said, Hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. Now the man, you want to keep going?
You can just leave it right there. Okay. Like it's, the Lord heard it. The Lord heard it. They were talking They were talking like, oh, Moses, he think he big, he think he bad, right? Like, don't the Lord talk to us? Yeah, yeah. You know, they probably hyping each other. Yeah, the Lord talked to you too, Miriam, right? Yeah. He, who Moses think he is? Envy, envy. They envied what he had, his relationship he had with the Most High. But the Most High had nothing but good things to say about Moses. He said he was the most humble in all the earth. And now you can see why. He had to be humble to deal with that.
Yeah.
Your brother and your sister trying to get your spot. Lord gave. That's crazy. It made no sense to me on that point. Like they were envious of what he had and they spoke against it. And the Lord said, I heard that. We all know what happened. We all know what happened or what their end was. Aaron died before he even got to see the land. Miriam, she ended up getting leprosy, talking crazy. She was made an example right before her brother.
Yeah.
Envy, even though it's not a sin, it brings forth sin. Because they started talking against Moses, and when you're talking about talking against Moses, you're talking against the Most High, because the Most High put them in place.
Exactly.
That's why the Most High heard it, and he's like, nah, Moses, hey, bring them out before the tabernacle. I'm about to make an example of them.
Yeah.
Like he said, envy, not a sin, but can bring forth sin.
That's right.
So these are like this. As we're going over these are still things that you have to be aware of, because even though they're not a sin, they bring forth sin. All right. Next one on the chopping block, gluttony. Now, is gluttony a sin? Do y'all know what gluttony is? Like, have y'all ever heard of gluttony? Like, gluttony is the excess of eating and also of drinking. Maybe that'll give you a clue. Hopefully that'll give you a clue if it's a sin or not. So gluttony is the excess of eating too much and drinking too much. Is that a sin? In the case of gluttony, it is not of the Father. It is not a doctrine or a sin given by the Father. Well, let me not say it's not a doctrine, because a doctrine is just a teaching. But it, in fact, is not a sin. Overeating is not a sin. It is not a sin, but it's something that can cause sin. Believe it or not, it can cause you to sin, because when you sin, like you overeating, when you're overeating, you're doing yourself a disservice to your body. It has this thing. There's a verse in Sirach that tells you about that. Talks about overeating. Get me Sirach 30, Sirach 37 and 29, and we're gonna read to verse 30, and I'm gonna show you why it says that, or why I said that.
Sirach 37 and verse 29.
Mhm.
Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor
Mhm.
too greedy upon meats.
Greedy upon what?
Greedy upon meats.
Hey, you eating too much.
For, for
Go ahead.
excess of meats bringeth sickness,
Mhm.
and sufficing will turn into cholera.
Now, cholera right there, it it's a medieval medical term, because they would believe if you ate too much, what would happen is it would change your mood. Like you either be too lazy, or you just didn't care anymore. You didn't care about things, right? Like you gotta go like it's I need to go to the temple. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. Just imagine being at the feast day. Like now we gotta do this. Nah, I'm good. Gotta sacrifice things. But you gotta go out there. Hey, get somebody else to do that. Man, I ate too much. Sitting at the table of the feast day. It's causing the causing people to sin, eating too much. Eating too much isn't really a sin, but it causes like things, bad health. Like it is one thing. Uh, Laziness, as they call it, they call it the itis.
Yeah.
Not really a sin, but it just kind of changes your mood. That's what they believe. They believe it changes your mood. So when it comes to gluttony, not a sin. Not a sin, but just something to warn you about. It's just not good for your health. So we can throw that out as well. But it's still like the guy said, it's a vice, and it's still something that can lead to bad things. Right. Next on the chopper block, we have wrath.
Mm.
Is wrath an actual sin? Is that a sin or it's not? We're gonna play the game. Is it this or is it that? like it, like it's because people like it is wrath by definition a sin. Because like when you talk about this, like it's wrath is defined as a strong feeling of hatred or resentment in the desire for vengeance. Hope that helps. Hope that helps out. We're trying to understand if it's a sin or not. Yes. Is it a sin? Is it not? Verdicts out at the moment. I guess because when it comes to wrath, it is not of the Father. It is not doctrine. I mean, it's not an actual sin. Wrath is not a sin.
Right.
Main reason, hey, the Most High has wrath. Can the Most
Yeah.
High sin?
He said vengeance belongs to him.
Right. Vengeance belongs to the Lord. Got a case in point. It's in Ezekiel. Like it's Ezekiel 25 and 17.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, because it tells you like it's this is just one account. There's numerous accounts. I was trying to narrow down which one I wanted to give because the Lord talks about talks about wrath a lot.
Yeah.
Talks about vengeance a lot. We got to keep a hatred for Amalek forever.
Yeah.
Go ahead, read that for us.
Ezekiel 25. You want me to start at 14?
I'll just try to get to the point to it. Verse 17.
Okay. And I will execute great vengeance upon
Great
them.
what?
I will execute great vengeance
Mm.
upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord when I shall lay my vengeance upon them.
But that's wrath, right?
Sounds like it.
By definition, that's wrath. So if the Most High can do it, how is it a sin?
Right.
Just so right there, just shows you again, wrath in itself is not a sin. Now, if you decide you want to get vengeance for no reason, like nobody done nothing to you, like yeah, you just want to go out and do something because of assumed wrongful doing. Hey, that's something different. That'll be a sin in itself right there. Just hatred for no reason. But this is for vengeance. Vengeance is something was done to you, something was done to your people, and you're getting justice for it. And that's what the Most High is doing. Like they were being wicked, gotta destroy them, get his lick because you done wronged them. All right, and then last but not least, we have sloth. When we talk about being slothful, like is Is that a sin? What they use as the definition for sloth, because when you think of sloth, it it's an animal, right? Or it's talking about being slow, or like how can being slow be a sin, right? Like if it took me like if it took me 2 days to read 3 chapters of the Bible, now is that sin? Is that a sin? But what it's talking about, and I had to look this up because I was like it's because I didn't understand why they would even think being slothful would be a sin. Like it's I had an idea of how it can lead to that, but they said this slothful to be slothful is to lack of care or concern for one's condition in the world. Like it's because when you think about that, when you don't care about nothing. What's the hurry? What's the rush? But according to the Catholics, this is a sin. In the case of it is slothfulness being a sin, it is not of the Father. It's not of the Father. It's not a sin, but it can cause sin. It's like it can cause you to sin. Like it's not having a care or concern for your brother's warfare. Because doesn't it tell you in Leviticus that you gotta suffer not sin upon your brother?
Right.
But if you don't have no care or concern, are you gonna? Hey, that's him. That had nothing to do with me.
Mm.
That brother over there sinning. He the one stealing. It ain't hurting me. But we know, like it's everything that pertains to Israel in general. If Israel is sinning, we might as well all been sinning.
Mm.
Because that's how the most high looks at us as a nation. Now I might get individual blessings like it's because I'm keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. But he until we get that number that he's looking for, and somebody else is still sinning, how we know that that's not the one person we waiting for? And we just like, well, he can do whatever he wants over there. I'm keeping the law. I'm worried about him. Most high could be waiting for that one person, and you just don't have no concern. You being slothful about it. But then we also have been we have the words of wisdom telling you about being slothful and warning you about it, right?
Right.
It tells you like it's look at the ant. Look at the ant that he's not like his and be as him. Now you gotta keep busy. Like it, you can't be slothful. Being like it'll cause you to sin.
Right.
Those things cause you to sin. Like it's you having no concern for anybody else but yourself. So when we look back over the whole lesson for the night, and we were trying to go through the doctrines of the 7 deadly sins, not only did we address them, look at them, review them, we also pulled out Bible verses to match to see if they are sins or not. And the the verdict is that some of them are sins, but most of them are not. They just lead to sin, and they even themselves said it in there. They have their vices that lead to it.
Right.
Even when we go back to even Grius, Pontius, he was talking about the eight evil thoughts. It started off just to let you know these aren't all these are just evil thoughts. They're not sins, but the Roman Catholic Church adopted them and has fooled people. What does it say that your fathers have believed lies?
Yeah.
That's one of them. That's one of our forefathers. Not like we're not talking about like back in the day, but we're talking more recently when it comes to Catholic Church because I know plenty of black people that are Catholics like kids, and I know plenty of black people, Hispanic people, definitely Hispanic people. That, oh, they love Jesus Blanco. They love him. That kid's got rosary. That kids, but they've believed a lie and they've been lied to. And even our brothers and sisters in Christianity, they've believed that lie, the seven deadly sins. I've heard that come out of Christians' mouth about all the seven deadly sins. There ain't no seven deadly sins. We learned tonight that's seven deadly vices. You gotta change the name of that, man. They'll lie to you, get you off the path. But the Most High, He's given us the understanding, the wisdom, and the knowledge to study to show ourselves approved, so that we know these things to be true or either false.
That's right.
And so all praises to the Most High for giving us this information, leading us in the way so that we can break down these walls. Because the more that we bring out truth over lies, we're furthering this gospel throughout all the four corners of the world. Because I'm like this, we're over only here in Knoxville, Tennessee, but we got brothers that watched us. He's in Maine, he's in Maryland.
Oh
He's in
wow.
Maryland. Done seen our videos. I had brothers across like it's in California, seen the video. Brothers in Georgia, seen the videos. We just a small camp in Knoxville, Tennessee. Shoot. I'm counting on my like it's I can count on my hands who like how many of are in the camp.
Yeah.
I can count on my hands. Like it's we're a small camp, but the Most High is doing big things. They
That's
don't
right.
have nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. We're just the vessels that he's using.
That's right.
Just the vessels that he's using. And with that said, I guess if the Most High has moved you to want to do the work or come and congregate with us, go ahead. Hit up our email. That's treeselect144@gmail.com. Like it's and just hit us up. Just say, hey, I want to do the work with y'all. Or I just want to come to camp. Because you might not again, this might not be the time for you to join, but you won't know if it's the time or not if you never show up, if you never see what brothers are about. You don't see the people we talk to, the people who come up and are like, you know what, thanks for giving me that information. Like it's breaking down strongholds. Like we have brothers teaching, we have brother teaching on one corner, then we have other brothers teaching on another corner. Like we out here. We're trying to break down the lies that have been taught to us. Just had a video where we had a pastor, Amish pastor came up. Like that's over on Chief Pound for Pound. That's on his channel. He talking about that. Like we had the whole camp that we had everybody there ready to be at it. I was behind the camera and I was like, man, I want to jump in there. I forgot I was recording at one point. I was like, that's right. That's right. I was like, oh dang, I'm recording. Like brothers were teaching. Brothers were bringing out the truth. While
Right.
he was trying to jump, he jumped. What about this? What about that? Brothers like, we're gonna stay here at this point and we're gonna talk about this. So we out here doing the work. We're like, yes, we want you to join in too. You might not be a teacher, you might not be a reader, like yes, but you can hold posts, you can sit around, you can listen, you can ask questions. That's the whole purpose of us gathering together.
That's right.
That's the whole purpose. You have anything, Officer Yaden?
Now that was a good point. Definitely, it's definitely good to be around brothers so you can learn more, be edified. And I like how we broke this down today. There's some stuff I didn't even know, like going into the Greek, the Blue Letter Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you broke it down, showing that most of the things that we went over aren't sins, but they can lead to sins.
Correct.
So I really like that. It was a good breakdown.
Yeah, all praises to the Most High for the lesson. All praises. Like yes, hey, I was looking at the weather. It's iffy right now, but say that the weather gets too bad for us because we're being affected by everything that's going on the East Coast by that Hurricane Aaron. Aaron, Yeah, I think it's Hurricane Aaron. It's supposed to be hitting up and down the coast. It's out there by like supposed to be hitting the East Coast, so we're getting a lot of rain in the coming days.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful that the Most High holds back the rain so we can get out there, so we can wake up the people, feed the sheep, because that's our heart's desire. Our desire is just to feed the people. Like I don't make a single dime off of this ministry.
Yeah.
Anything that the people give us, we send it right back out to y'all. When it comes to feast days, when it comes to edification, all of that. If brothers and sisters need help, things like that, that's what that's for. Like if we are your brothers and your sisters out here, like it's trying to join the tribes back together. You can't just sit around twiddling your thumbs thinking the Most High just gonna do everything. He gave you vessels. He gave you vessels to show you how to navigate through it. Like it gave the children of Israel Joseph, not Joseph, Moses. After Moses, gave him Joshua. Like it's like it, and then went into the land, gave us a king. Even though the Most High supposed to be our king, he said, "Fine, give you a king, show you how to way." He fell, got David. David showed was a righteous king. Fell short, got back on the path. Solomon showed you how to do it. Wisest man to walk the face of the earth under Yahushua. Under Yahushua. Yahushua. He was greater than him. But you've been given all these tools, how to walk, how to navigate. You got to use them. You got to use these tools so that you can stay in the light of the Most High and that you can be blessed. So just keep your ear to the ground just in case we decide we can't come out. We're gonna try to give you some edification on the kids. I know Captain J who had a little bit of something he wanna give to the people. So if we can't make it out on Saturday on the Shabbat, he gonna come with some great edification. We're gonna be over there on his channel. We're gonna be on this channel, and I'll drop a link over here so that y'all can get over there if y'all ain't already subscribed. And if you ain't already subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know what you're waiting
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Brothers got edification coming out the ears. Like
Exactly.
his brothers love to do this.
There's always something to bring out when it comes to it. There's always things that need to be learned that need to
Hmm.
be taught. So definitely,
Yeah. Hey, you heard Officer Yaden. You, you heard what he said. There's always something to be. It's always something to be edified with. We got tons of videos on the channel. Brothers got on their channel. I got a little something on my channel. I'm trying to build up a little bit, like
Okay.
it, but just a little bit. But hey, we got edification coming out the wazoo, as they used to say. But anyway, hey, we appreciate you rocking with us for this lesson, even though we had a little bit of technical difficulty. We appreciate it. For everybody that's watching now, that's gonna watch later, drop a comment. Tell us if something that you don't agree with, or if you do agree with it, or you got a question about it. Hit us up, comment, see the email address right on the screen. And with that, hey, let's close it out with the verse.
I got you. It's Isaiah 61 and verse 3. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called trees of righteousness,
Hmm.
planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified.
That's right. It's all about the Most High getting the glory, not us. All about Him. Hey, again, we appreciate you rocking with us. I'm Hezekiah the servant,
I'm Officer Yaden.
and with that, Shalom Yashala.
Shalom.
Shalom.